So, KB album, His Glory Alone. We'll go ahead and do a little preface here. I'm maybe the biggest KB fan you'll meet, the biggest KB fan I know. Today We Rebel is like, I did a YouTube video not too long ago last year. I had it as the third best album of the 2010s. Huge KB fan. I have two Not Today Satan shirts. I have HGA shorts. I've bought Today We Rebel twice, seen KB in concert 3 times. I mean, a gigantic KB fan. And I was so excited for last night. If you're friends with me on Snapchat, you saw I was posting old KB music. So excited. And I was really pumped for this. Me and 2 friends who were big KB fans, we got in the car and just drove around for 45 minutes straight and listened to the whole album all the way through with no distractions, anything. And at first, we were all just kind of like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then we talked about it for a couple minutes. And we all had the same idea. This was not a KB album. This was a Lecrae album. And I love Lecrae. Huge Lecrae fan. My hat over here, signed by Lecrae and Andy Minnie. I love them both. But KB's by far my favorite. And that is because you got songs like Art of Drifting, Art of Hope, I'm Not the One, like Die Rich, like songs that will get into it. Like talk about big stuff like adultery, using the church for money, prioritizing money over your faith, like real stuff that actually people that people don't want to hear about, like stuff that you need to be held accountable on. I felt like KB has a lot of songs like Get Through, like Sing to You, Rebel Rebel 88, even some of his old stuff like I'ma Just Do It. I'm going more of his recent stuff because this is the first time he's dropped the album in like 3 years. Even his singles, Armies and 10K, Die Rich, Hold Me Back, and No Chains are his 2 biggest songs. They were both singles coming into this. Lincoln, it was just a lot of risks, a lot of substance, like deep into it. No Chains had so many good lines like that needed to be said. Like he was a substance man, and you knew what you were getting with him. And this just didn't feel like it. This felt so much like, hey, God loves you. God loves you. Yeah, Felt like there was no substance. I was waiting for something like Art of Drifting and Art of Hope to be like, hey, you're using the church for money. You're struggling with looking at bad stuff on your phone. You struggle with cheating on your wife. That's like real stuff that like gets into it. I was expecting some risks, like something weird, like I'm Not the One. Like that song just throws everything out. Get Through is like such like a slow, kind of weird, slow song. Like even some of the singles like were just weird. Like not what you were expecting. And like Long Live the Champions, like big shake-up stuff. This album felt like he looked at a checklist for what songs work. Felt like, hey, let's quote some worship songs. Let's have a fast tempo, do a beat drop, and let's do that 15 times. That's just what it felt like to me. I loved Masterpiece. That was one that was like, it actually talked about something real. Dark Skin was really good. Like, it gets into it. And, like, even on his really popular songs, like No Chains and Hold Me Back, like, that gets into stuff. Like, there's substance there. And the album's been out for less than a day, so I'll give it some more time. But, like, as of right now, it's just, like, this is a Lecrae album with KB's voice over it. And I love Lecrae, but Lecrae is more of a, hey, let's just rap a little bit clean. I'm a Christian here and there. And that's fine. That's not everyone has to be Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But KB's always been Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Like, I don't know. The album's called His Glory Alone. And, like, I'm not saying he's not so many Christian rap fans will get into like, oh, he's not saved anymore, blah, he's not as on fire for God, the basic Southern stuff. None of that crap. I'm just saying, he just signed with a new record label earlier this year, and you can tell, felt like he was a little scared to take some risks, felt like he didn't want to get into it. And my friend Zion told me, coming into it, he said, I feel like we've already got the best songs off the album, because Armies and 10K were perfection. And yeah, those are the 2 best songs on the whole album, in my opinion. I felt like the first 5 or 6 were good. And then once you got to about song number 8 through 13, I was like, okay, cool. I've already heard this 4 times in this same album. Like, cool. Give me some substance. Dark Skin was good. He got into it. Like I said, Masterpiece was a total switch up. I like that. But 2 out of, there was 3 singles, so there's 10 new songs. 2 or 3 out of 10 is not a good ratio for in like, I don't know. This didn't feel like KB. It didn't feel like any risks were taken. It felt like there was no toes stepped on. It felt like he signed to a new label, and it felt like he was just gonna make everyone happy. And I don't know. I feel like with a lot of songs like "Sing to You," "Bring You War," I'm just quoting "Today We Rebel," like "Bring You War," like "Tempo," like those songs, and like "Get Through." You know those aren't hits. Like he's not chasing a hit. Like he's like, all right. It felt like he was telling a story with the album, and like he's continuing the story. This felt like no cohesion. It felt like a lot of separate songs trying to get a lot of streams, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what KB's always been. Like Lecrae is a man, he's going after streams, and he's trying to. He's the biggest Christian rap artist for a reason. He knows what he's doing, and he's trying to continue that, and that's great. I enjoy Lecrae a lot, but that's not what I go to KB for, and I don't think that's what's gotten KB here in the first place. I just know that out of my 4 close KB friends that have listened to it, I have a lot of KB fans because we're all in Christian rap a lot. Of the 4 that have actually listened to it, only one of us were like, this is really good. So 1 out of 4 of people who like loved his last album and have been in love with his singles. It's not a good ratio. I'll listen to it a couple more times through this weekend, and I'll do a full review tomorrow night or Sunday. But that's my early thoughts. Very, very disappointed so far. Please let me know if you agree or disagree. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe.